It was a Teddy Long dream show with nothing but tag team matches as a trip to Saudi Arabia is very near, and we all paid tribute to one of the greatest legends of all time right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This almost sounds like default music.
You know,
in a way.
I think the individual whose music this is, Chad Gable,
I'm excited to see him.
is massively talented.
You damn right.
And I don't think he needs music necessarily to match his charisma. I think he is pretty damned charismatic himself.
And we will get to that in just a little bit. But first, we welcome you to the Raw After Show on AfterBuzz TV. It's been quite a long time since we've been here.
Yeah,
myself and you together.
All of us together.
The four of us.
At least the two of us together. The four of us, you know, success is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You get the honor and distinction of furthering yourself in your career, but it takes you away from some of the other stuff that you love to do.
Yeah.
And success, unfortunately, has taken many of us, myself included, away from this microphone on a regular basis. Our Monday nights are now filled with other obligations, and unfortunately, we're not able to speak about Raw as regularly as we can, but we are here tonight.
Well, what we do, we have to travel quite a bit, you know, whereas TK works for TMZ. She's got a great gig with TMZ. Well, that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
So luckily she's, for the most part, able to be here. Markia's got the gigs going on with Nerdist and Hyper RPG, and you got to say yes when those gigs come a-knocking, you know, and then you and I have been kind of traveling all over the place and doing stuff like that, so.
We were both in Arizona yesterday.
Yeah, I got home, you got home probably a little later than me.
Maybe.
I got home at 2 a.m.
Did you? Yeah, we were in at about 3.
There you go.
Yeah, 2:33.
It was a good trip.
Well, it's pretty good. You got to see Robert Baines wrestle live for the first time,
which I want to talk about in a second. Sure. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Jonny Loquasto here with you at jquasto on social medias. Of course, Markia McCarty, still busy, but you know she's going to be back soon. Follow her at Markia McCarty, and of course, TK Trinidad at TK Trinidad. She's been holding down the fort every week, and we could not be more grateful for that. And this gentleman right here, former Hollywood Heritage Champion in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, former United World Tag Team Champion, and he's been all over the globe, including Arizona this weekend with me. And, you know, there's many sides to this man. You can follow him on social media at Baines Destroy.
Baines Destroy.
But right now, he is the Hobo.
Yeah. You know, you always keep a little bit of yourself with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
I just happen to have the distinction of being able to isolate certain parts of my my psyche and use them at particular times when they're needed.
Well, trust me, after seeing Robert Baines in Arizona this weekend, I'm glad that is not here.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little, but I try to shelve it so that I'm able to give my opinions on Raw as a whole, not necessarily my personal opinions on world views, things like that.
Sure, and people can watch Robert Baines, though, worldwide. The Fight TV app, not only is Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on Fight TV, but now Arizona also on Fight TV. Check them out, because I got to say, there's no one like Robert Baines, and I just want to put that over for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I like what I'm doing. I like being destructive.
So apparently Markia might be at the Infinity Avengers premiere.
Oh, yeah, good for her. I mean, she's, like I said, all of us are all over the place, and her in particular, she's had a lot of different things coming up, and you can't say no, because if you miss the opportunity, it doesn't come around again. That's how it is in our industries of entertainment.
Yes, and stuff pops up the day of. That's what happened today.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Well, let's get into it. Raw was 3 hours long. Tonight was one of those nights, it did not have to be 3 hours long. They're gearing up for Saudi Arabia. The Superstar shakeup just happened. You know, there was a lot of tag team matches, and generally that's because
4 out of 6 of the matches tonight were tag team matches.
Indeed, but we start off with the tribute to the late Bruno Sammartino, and you know the video package was amazing. The 10-bell salute. There's not enough words. I mean, we can talk for the next 45 minutes about Bruno if we wanted to. Everything he did, just his life story. I mean, 4 of his siblings passing away at a young age in Italy. You know, hiding out from the Nazis with his family, getting to America, and then being a very sickly child, physically getting made fun of because he was not as big as other kids. and just persevering in an era where I don't even think there was performance-enhancing drugs.
Not at that time.
No.
Not really.
Just by hard work and perseverance and diet, just became a massive individual. Bench pressed 565 pounds in 1959 with no straps, no pads, no nothing.
Was billed at that time as the strongest man in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, he lived up to the name. He was the American dream. He was an
really
American
was.
hero because he was an immigrant who immigrated to this country.
Yeah.
He fought through so many different things to become really the champion of champions for our industry.
He really was the embodiment of the American dream, and he took that very seriously. Like, every story I've ever heard about Bruno is just a very humble guy, you know, really stuck to his guns, for evidenced by his long hiatus from WWE and refusing to ever be considered for Hall of Fame until Triple H reached out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Which you have to respect him for that. And just 187 sellouts, MSG. That's hard to fathom.
Yes. Yes. It was a different time.
It sure
We can
was.
say that.
It was definitely a different time, but just the being known the world over like that. I mean, obviously WWE, it's grown to astronomical proportions, so it is a totally different era. But imagine, it's hard to imagine how popular he truly was.
Yeah.
Headlining MSG that many times.
Yeah. It's I don't think any of us will ever truly understand what that was and how that was, and because it'll never be that way again. It was the end of the territories into the television era, and he dominated so soundly no one could touch him.
I was going to say, as someone like you who appreciates physicality more than some other guys who work in wrestling,
Yeah.
he almost brought a new style in a way. Am I correct in saying that? 'Cause
I mean, everybody has their own style, but it's popularity that dictates trends. So if somebody is at the top of the industry, they can shape the way wrestling as a whole is perceived by those within the industry.
Sure.
So they sort of the ones on top dictate how the rest of us work, and you see John Cena to a degree sort of affected how the industry works. To a certain extent, I saw it within the industry.
Yeah.
And WWE as a whole now dictates to a large extent what we do in the United States as professional wrestlers.
Yeah, I mean, you just see a lot of times with certain things they're trying to promote. They'll come up with a certain catchphrase that they will just say it to death. Or like, and even in the ring, there are certain styles that do become popular, I guess you could say, especially, in the indie scene now. Over the last 5 years, it's become just, hold your breath and don't blink, because it's nonstop speed.
But it was sort of like, if you want to work for WWE, you have to work to the style that they want to showcase on their platform. So in that way, they're able to sort of curb the trend of
you have to know
what
TV.
you do.
Got to work TV.
Of course. But that's not always necessarily the case now. Things have changed just enough in the last 10 years that you can come in as somebody who hasn't worked a whole lot of television, but somebody who has done really well in the industry, and they'll teach you how to work TV.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a great time to be a wrestler right now.
It sure is. And it's great to watch Bruno's footage from, back in the day, and what a long career he had.
Yeah. We wouldn't have what we have now if it weren't for somebody like Bruno Sammartino becoming the headliner that he was for the WWF, making us popular and allowing for the transition into a television era through Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
And what's amazing is I sat in on Sean Waltman X-Pac show last week, and we had on a legendary photographer. His name escapes me right now, but he had mentioned that he was there live when Bruno won the title in 1963. And he said, I got out of wrestling for a number of years, and then I remember I came back in like 6 years later, and Bruno was still champion. He was champion 2,800 days-ish consecutively and over 4,000 days in his career.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, though? And obviously it was a different era. There wasn't like a TV era per se. But to hold the title for 2,800 days, it wasn't like he was sitting on his laurel. He was working all the time, and I think they said he just got tired after 7+ years.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having that streak, having that many victories under your belt, or at least not losing the championship. I've been a champion a few times, and it's always in the back of your mind, what if today's the day? What if today's the day I fall just that much short of being able to hold on to this? But Bruno must have outworked absolutely everyone to make sure that he kept that championship for as long as he did. That's an undefeated streak.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It boggles the mind.
It's hard to believe because how hard the guy had to work, and obviously he was a powerhouse. It doesn't mean your body doesn't take its toll.
No. That doesn't
Lord.
happen overnight. That takes consistent work.
Yeah.
And in a time where, like we said, there wasn't a whole lot of performance-enhancing drugs out there that could actually get you someplace. It really just was hard work and diet, and I really appreciate both of those things because they follow you throughout life. He had a long life. He was 82 years old.
That's incredible.
For a professional wrestler, that is a nice, long life.
It sure is, and because he was clean, and
Yeah.
he lived a clean life, and I think he lived a modest life too, and I don't think he had a lot of stressors in his life. You know, once he retired, I think he was very happy with where he was at. He stayed in Pittsburgh. He was very proud of the city. The city was very proud of him, and so it's just a beautiful life story. Like Booker T said it perfectly tonight. He said, "Your journey is over." And what a journey it was. So that's our tribute to Bruno, and you know, we encourage you to go back and watch as much of his career as possible because it really was something else. But kicking things off, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. You know, Paul Heyman, he does Paul, basically says, you know, the same thing's going to happen this week in Saudi Arabia that happened at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar's going to remain the champion. And, yeah, Roman hits the ring. They have a bit of a stare down. No physicality, of course, because, you know, there's no need for it. It's a big event on Friday. Let's chill out.
Yeah, I think Roman has been, in the past couple of weeks, much more sedate. And I don't know if it's focus or not. Part of me goes, well, it's obviously because he's focused on actually, you know, getting his hands on the champion when the time presents itself.
Sure.
Now it's not that time, and he is not going to jeopardize his health or safety for a moment that he is not going to actually gain anything of substance from. But that being said, it's tough for us to reason why it's Roman Reigns again against Brock Lesnar. He lost at WrestleMania. He didn't lose the title at WrestleMania, so why give him the opportunity yet again to take the belt from Brock Lesnar?
Right.
When now could be the time that anybody else could step up and fill the shoes.
You know, none of us know the true story behind this Saudi Arabia event. I can only imagine there's a lot of money involved.
Absolutely.
Clearly, there's a lot of money being exchanged here because this was not anything that I don't think was planned, at least in the media. And you have a 50-person Royal Rumble. You have 7 titles on the line. Essentially, you could argue this is bigger than a WrestleMania card. And obviously, it's going to be very exciting because the Middle East, they're massive WWE and pro wrestling fans. I was in Pakistan last year. The one hotel had a WWE channel, and we were at our 3 different cities. We went to Islamabad, Karachi, and Lahore, and we did a live event at every event. Every city, and ranged anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 people at each event. And in the middle of the event, American chants just start breaking out.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there thinking, I don't know how many people even speak English, let alone really understand what's happening. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear, yes, yes. Okay, I stand corrected.
I believe that the Middle East, more than anything, wants Western entertainment because I think everybody appreciates the entertainment of different cultures because it doesn't try and press any sort of views on you. It's simply something that you can enjoy, and I think a lot of people are asking, should WWE go to Saudi Arabia with their track records of human rights questions?
Here's the thing. I look at it this way. They can use this as a catalyst to gain more human rights for people.
Absolutely. This is how you affect change.
Yes.
You go into a place that normally you couldn't have access to, and you go in as a person of just it may be a different standing.
Peacekeeper.
Right, but it's you're now showcasing yourself to a whole other culture and possibly opening up their minds to how other people are simply the same. We're all the same.
We really are.
Wherever you go, you realize people are people. And I think once these gifted athletes, men and women, get into that environment, it could potentially change things for the better for everyone.
You said it perfectly. The whole thing surrounding the Pakistan trip last year was Pakistan had not had live entertainment since 2008, and I think it was a Bryan Adams concert or something like that. And this group of people had the money. They were a group of Pakistanis who, some were living in America, some were living back and forth. They had the money. They wanted to create something incredible. They said, we want to prove that there could be peaceful entertainment in Pakistan. And they had 16 countries represented, where, you know, Europe, America, Mexico, like all over the place. And they made it happen. We all went over there. I'll be honest, I was a little... You know, I'd been in the Middle East before for Armed Forces Entertainment. I'd never been to Pakistan. That was the one place everyone was like, don't go to Pakistan. But it's one of those opportunities. You would take it too. It's
yeah, I would.
You say yes, and once you get there, you know what your mission is. You don't worry about it. You trust the security, and you trust in the mission. And the people could not have been more loving and more happy and more thrilled that we were all there. And every show was incredible. Yeah, it was a little hectic at times.
Sure.
But it was an experience I will never forget. And when you get over there, you realize, look, they're just like us. They want to have a good time. They want to have entertainment. And what we gave them are memories that'll last a lifetime, because they don't know when that's going to happen again.
Absolutely.
And I think people get very short-sighted about that. You can't go over there. Look away. No, you go over there to create change. That's why you go over there.
Yeah.
And so I applaud WWE for doing it. And hell, if I have a chance to go back to Pakistan for wrestling again, better believe I'm going to go.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah. So Roman and Paul Heyman. Roman and Lesnar will be this Friday at noon Eastern.
Yeah, noon. So, what's that, 3 here or something? No, that can't be right.
No, that'd be 9 a.m.
9 a.m., yeah.
The other...
I get hit in the head a lot.
That's okay. I don't blame you. Let's see. Elias, well, he barely even gets a word out. Bobby Roode interrupts it, but how about this? Elias with what I'd call an upset. Bit of an eye rake, followed by a small package roll-up for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Roode is a fan favorite, and all he had to do to disrupt Elias's normal routine was show up, and the entire audience was behind Bobby Roode. They've taken a shine to Elias because I think he's pretty ridiculous. He really leans into what he's doing, and the fans appreciate it because, I mean, he's honest in a way by being so overly rude. Mm-hmm. He doesn't necessarily lie to you to your face because he tells you exactly what he thinks about you. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of an admirable trait, and I think the fans kind of appreciate that. But Bobby Roode, far and above, is much more well-liked than Elias.
Do you think?
I would say so.
Elias is, from what I saw, his merch is second, I think, right now.
Right, but people like to dislike him. They don't like him.
Sure, but this is an odd, for Bobby Roode making his debut on Raw, this may be his first match, I think.
I forget what last week was.
A little inauspicious. But either way, this could be leading to something. But yeah, I was surprised. I'm so used to seeing Elias just entertain and then lose.
They have very similar styles, Roode and Elias do. Both very ground-based, very hard strike-based. Very American, I'd say, even though Bobby Roode is indeed Canadian.
Yes, he is.
But I think both of them are not above shenanigans to get a victory. Elias certainly isn't, and he wasn't tonight. Mm-hmm. I rake into a deep roll-up for that 3 count. And I have to imagine that Bobby Roode is going to try and get the better of Elias on their next meeting, because there has to be a next meeting.
Well, yeah, they added 18 new people to the roster. This is the time where you have to develop new stories and new feuds, because, you know, if you ask anyone, SmackDown probably got the better of the Superstar shakeup by a long shot. And so Raw's gonna...
It's tough to disagree with that.
Yeah.
The loss of Samoa Joe is... it's a deep loss to me. Yep. I'm pretty disappointed that I don't get to talk about what he's
We can still talk about
doing.
mean-
I right, but
Yeah.
that's not what SmackDown.
You're
thing,
right. You're very true.
Sadly.
So Elias wins. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, they are together, and they hit the ring against the Ascension. About 3 or 4 minutes later, they pull off the, I don't even know if they have a name for it, the
I don't know.
combo twist of fate
Something.
for the win.
I like their promo beforehand. They seem to be really meshing well together. The light and the darkness, they understand the role of that each individual plays in this tag team, and I think it's a great dichotomy, and I think it really has done a lot to refresh Bray Wyatt. And I think Matt Hardy is as wild as he was in TNA. He is as wild here.
Yeah. Refresh my memory. This whole tag team tournament, when does this end? Not in Saudi Arabia, I don't think. Chat roll.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know it's coming up because
I don't think it's a tournament though.
Okay.
I have not listen.
I know. You and me both, man. Tag titles are in abeyance right now.
They won last week. Bray and Hardy did. They won last
Sure
week.
did. Yep.
To gain something, and then they won again this week. But I don't think the Ascension have wrestled on Raw before. This was the Raw debut of the Ascension.
That's a very fair point. Yes, it was.
And
It was good to hear the word abeyance used for the first time in a while.
yeah. So word of the day calendar word.
Title match on Friday, according to MG
Yeah,
underscore
right.
Geek. Okay.
Yeah. That's what they got when they won last week. Was actually the right to wrestle the bar for the championship.
Oh, that'll be fun.
But the next to follow should be Fashion Police.
Sure.
Because they got a flash win over the bar last week.
They did. So Saudi Arabia, we're guaranteed to have a title awarded to somebody then out of these 7 matches. So that's one of
Well,
them.
yeah, something like that.
All right. Sammy and Kevin show. Look, wrestling talk shows have been done a zillion times. I do appreciate their attempt at making it look like a late night set. They have a table, they have mics. I dug that as opposed to just one little backdrop and then a mic. Like at least it was like a sit down kind of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that worked. There's something about having people on stools. You're allowed better angles. But this was, I mean, their content was good. Sammy is he's manic. And then Kevin is so laid back and sort of just seething. Sort of like just permanent, just burning like hot coals.
Permanent life disapproval.
Yeah. He pretty much hates everyone and everything. And Sammy's the energy of that duo, and I think it showed tonight.
And then the highlight had to be when they were trying to figure out how many kids Kurt Angle had.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jason Jordan, of course, is the outlier.
Sure.
And
the oldest, I believe.
Really?
Just to guess. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, you were right. Yeah, he would have to be.
I believe he's a grown ass man as far as I know. So.
Sure. Then when you put it that way, yeah.
And Kurt Angle makes a tag match tonight to show his appreciation to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It's going to be those two versus Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's a good thank you, President. Thank you for having me on your show. Please wrestle these two giants. Have a good night.
Hey, there you go, Tony B. Tone. Hitting the old 1-2s. And then, of course, he mentions Chris Jericho will be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be, but he might have been in a casket match that he's not in anymore.
Yeah.
So
Sammy had a comment about, he mentioned Rusev and Lana, about Lana finally agreed to let her husband be in a casket match. I don't know if that was an inside.
Well, okay, so
dig. I'm not really sure.
Maybe you missed that. Rusev was publicized to wrestle Undertaker for a casket match.
And then there were rumors he was leaving.
No, he was removed from that match. By publicity, removed from that match. Jericho was put in his place in the casket match.
Sure.
Then that was reversed yet again to have Rusev wrestle Undertaker for sure, for keepsies,
Right.
in a casket match in Saudi Arabia. No one knows why.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
No one has any clues. So honestly, anything that Sammy and Kevin say about it is as good as news, because none of us have any clue what the hell happened.
Someone in chat roll mentioned about how I guess Lana was very vocal on social media. I don't look, so I don't really see what it was.
Yeah, she was.
About the switcheroo.
Uh-huh.
Well, then there were rumors. People were texting me last week like, dude, do you hear Rusev got released? I'm like, what?
No, he didn't.
No.
But there's rumors still about him wishing to leave.
His Twitter has been, I've seen a few. They're pretty vocal.
And I mean, if I was going to leave a company, I think I'd want to leave in a casket via The Undertaker.
That's not a bad way to go, but here's the thing. In New Orleans, I don't think I saw, besides Bullet Club, I think I saw more Rusev Day t-shirts than anybody else. You don't want to walk away from that. That's a lot of merch money.
Yeah, but, well, I don't know. Mo money, mo problems.
For some people,
a wise man
mo money would make me pretty happy, I think.
Yeah.
I can handle the problems, I'm pretty sure.
All I'll say is it's an interesting time in professional wrestling, and if you're not getting what you need from one company, there are many other companies at this time that can satisfy both your bank account and your wish for creative fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. So. Tina Key says Lana was vocal, and then Michelle McCool's a bit vocal as well. I'm not sure if maybe going back and forth at each other. I don't know.
I don't know in what direction. It's all very confusing.
Either way, casket match, pretty neat. So. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, the Miztourage, they try to join Seth Rollins. They want to burn it down. Rollins says, nah.
They're going to be the new Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because nothing makes a tag team better than when you tack the word new on the front of something. And it's completely different, but it's got the new
There's not going to be a new The Shield.
Like the New Rockers. They were it.
Yeah. For a brief period of time.
Yeah.
The New Demolition.
New Demolition. Yeah.
That was something.
New is the key word that drives success.
That's why cars cost so much when they're new.
They're new.
Ridiculous.
They're new.
Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre defeat Titus Worldwide rather quickly in a tag team match.
The first tag team match of the evening. Don't worry. There's 3 other
we gave you the hint, Tony, when we said there were 4 tag team matches at the beginning of the show. I mentioned it was a Teddy Long Dream show, Tony.
I got a whole plate of food right in front of me. I'm so sorry.
What is it? What are you eating tonight?
I got some. It's a green salsa casserole.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, protein in that? Chicken?
Oh, of course. We got some chicken.
Good.
Also some jalapenos, a little hot.
Oh, that's good.
And without further ado, tag team match.
Coming to get it on. Out of my way, I'm coming with thunder and lightning and striking. I'm inviting you all to the storm. Feel the pain that I try to contain. My heart is.
You better keep that button hot, Tony. Better keep that button hot.
Oh, it's hot now.
Okay. So yeah, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. No one knows why they're friends, but now they're friends. And Drew McIntyre you don't realize how large of an individual he is until he's standing next to Dolph Ziggler.
No, yeah.
Good God Almighty.
I've met him many times.
In person? Yeah, I don't recall if I've ever worked an event with him. I don't think I have.
And he's just like, oh crap.
He's a what, a legit 6'8"?
Maybe closer to 6'6", I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah. But big. That's big.
Yes.
He's a big man.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Drew McIntyre had a good run at NXT. Then he was injured for quite some time. Now he's back. Looks phenomenal.
Yeah. Lost the belt but through a torn bicep.
Yes.
But I guess it's repaired 100% now because he's ready to go straight to television. He never got his rematch for his title in NXT, but it doesn't look like he needs it.
No, I mean, he honestly, Drew McIntyre has to be one of the people that helps carry Raw now after everyone they lost to SmackDown. And a lot of people that came over to Raw, they were kind of people who weren't really on television a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I think McIntyre really needs to step it up and be a major part of it.
I mean, McIntyre, I think, is the centerpiece of this duo, really. Mm-hmm. Last week when Ziggler debuted on Raw, it was a lukewarm reception at best. But all of a sudden, when McIntyre came out, the place lit up.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, this is both familiar and different at the same time. So now we're interested. Now we want to see what's going to happen.
We got a comment in chat roll saying Ziggler and McIntyre could be the new Michaels and Diesel. They
basically are.
That's probably the theory behind it. Obviously, they're four very different people.
Right.
But yeah.
But no, I mean, in the way that it's going to work, I have to imagine it'll work somewhat like that. But I think it is just a matter of time until McIntyre breaks out, and
No
I
doubt.
think he's the heavy favorite. When he grabbed the mic tonight, it was a revelation. You know, you don't think that that he might be able to talk, but he talks with purpose. He's very easy to understand what he says. Granted, he has an accent, but I'm talking about the content of his words.
Yeah.
He's really able to connect with an audience and deliver what he wants and what he's going to do.
No doubt. And speaking of new additions, Chad Gable talking to Kurt Angle, saying he wants to, obviously make a name. And Kurt's like, hey, I didn't bring you here to be a tag team. You're not going to team with Jason Jordan. You're going to be a star on your own. Jinder's all mad. He says he wants to be back on SmackDown as soon as he wins his title back this Friday. He fronts on Gable. Then they have a match, and Gable pulls off the victory. How about that?
Chad Gable is very gifted, no matter who he's wrestling against.
He's so fluid.
Yes.
And quick, but not in a rushed way, if that makes any sense.
No, it's control.
Yeah.
He's not trying to speed through or speed past an opponent. It's just he understands the quickest way to get what he wants in a particular circumstance. Doesn't always work out. Jinder's a very big guy.
Oh my gosh.
And a big boot that was delivered really turned the tide in this match, as I think it would in any other sort of place. If
No
you
doubt.
took a boot like that to the face in a bar, that would be just a call for the hospital.
And I will give Jinder some credit. He got a couple digs in on Gable. Probably, what was the first thing? Not the mini-me joke. That was a little, not quite. I wouldn't have gone there.
It's a little early.
The one
Too
before.
soon.
Oh, when he called him Nicholas. That was solid.
Oh, yeah.
Solid delivery on Jinder's part. Probably the funniest thing I've heard him say.
Yeah. Well, Chad Gable's the man laughing last.
Look, Gable-
loudest this evening.
I'm rooting for Gable. I've always been a fan. I thought the SmackDown thing with Shelton, they were just kind of overlooked.
Weird.
Yeah, I think I'd really like to see Gable kind of branch out and do something completely different, being on Raw, and hopefully he gets that
I
shot.
mean, he got a win over Jinder, so anything's possible, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting what happens in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
with him wrestling Jeff Hardy for the U.S. Championship.
Yes, it will.
Literally anything could happen. I do expect titles to change hands in Saudi Arabia.
From what I understand, this is a legit 6-hour show, like between pre-show and it's almost like Mania.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I got a blood drive on Friday during the entire. If it starts at 9 o'clock for us, my blood drive starts at 9, doesn't end till 2. So that's pretty much going to be I'm going to try to get to it at some point this weekend. But for anyone who takes
I
off
guess
work,
I'll have to as well.
yeah. But
Boy.
hey, if you take off work for the event, more power to you. Enjoy.
Yeah. Jeez.
It'll be something else. Riot Squad says everyone's a target, and they all get a couple barbs in. They are here to take out everybody, including even Alexa and Mickey James, those best friends that they are. Axel and Bo, they try to join the Balor Club, and the best moment here, they all try to do the too-sweet. Balor comes back and politely just puts their hands down.
I want that to be made a meme. I know so many people who that directly applies to.
Oh, yeah.
Knock this off.
Right.
Stop doing this. All of you.
It's never going to stop.
No, never will.
It's not.
It's fine.
By the way, we looked like twins.
In a way.
We are both wearing, no, in a very much of a way,
Yeah.
we're both wearing a darker shade of blue mixed with,
Is that blue? It really looks really charcoal
it's a charcoal blue,
Huh.
but yours has a, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going more blue, like
even-
a midnight blue.
Didn't even try to pull it off. Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a tag team match.
I leave the place empty. You get me? I'm low down, gritty and shifty. I'm low down, people against me. Even the
Yeah.
best be afraid, 'cause I broke to the grass.
Well, Sami and KO, not the greatest start to their Raw careers. Braun and Bobby take him out, and Yeah, Braun is just straight up just rolling.
Yeah, Lashley, I think, really tried to show what he was made of in this match. There were many times he could have gone for a tag after receiving some punishment from Sami and Kevin, but he chose not to. He opted to stay in the match, and as a result, he ended up getting pretty soundly drummed for a good portion of this match, mostly because he wanted to be Superman and not have to make a tag to Strowman.
Yo, that shoulder block.
That's a choice.
The shoulder block from Braun to KO on the outside.
Two and then a drop kick.
The one especially right off the barricade. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a really smart way to use a piece of furniture or part of an arena to your advantage. You hit a guy and then he hits that.
Oh my.
That was a pretty good move.
That looked amazing.
Yeah. Braun Strowman's got more going on between his ears than a lot of people give him credit for.
But Kevin Owens for living.
Well, he should be pretty well padded.
Yes.
Say that. He bounced off of that barricade pretty good, but that's sort of what I would come to expect from a guy who's built like that.
But either way, very well done. Bobby Lashley, I'm excited to see. I want to see him obviously break out and do his own thing. This is one of those we mentioned on Raw. It's going to be a lot of tag team matches. It's not a lot of story because they're building to Saudi Arabia. That's obviously their main concern. I bet they're probably hitting a jet tomorrow to get over there.
Or tonight, actually. The Raw crew should, I think, be heading over early.
Quite possibly. And so, you're not going to see a whole lot of story this week. You're still trying to see people establish themselves in a new environment. But I really want to see Bobby Lashley seize his character. I want to see him get on the mic and be confident like he was with Impact.
No, I really did not see him in Impact. His WWE run I felt was lackluster, and when he went over to Impact, I did not follow because I wasn't invested in him in WWE.
It took a while.
So what was it about his time at Impact that really made him a solid player?
Honestly, it's like with anything, more time.
Yeah.
More time in the ring, more time on the mic. He was allowed to experiment more, being himself. When he was, like a lot of guys, I think his strongest work was when he was a heel. But he wasn't your typical heel of like, I'm going to undercut, I'm going to cheat, I'm going to lie, I'm going to do all. No. Bobby Lashley was that kind of heel where he's like, I know I'm better than every single one of you. I can get in the octagon, I can kick your tail, I can get in this ring, I can kick your tail. Look at me and look at all of you. And it was really fun to watch him grow. Now, I don't know if he's going to get to that point if we're setting up Lesnar and Lashley at SummerSlam.
I would like to see something like that now. I think Bobby Lashley coming in and just sort of being like, yeah, I'm just happy to be here is pretty lackluster.
That's the thing. I don't think there was nothing planned for. And that's why I really want to see him.
Here's what bothers me, that you had Apollo Crews, and Apollo Crews was getting a subtle push for a little while. Here comes Bobby Lashley. Apollo Crews is now once again sort of on a losing streak, not necessarily able to show off what he's capable of as he was previously. He was in tag team matches, but tag team matches that specifically showcased him as being both a power guy and a high flyer, which is a very rare combination. Here comes Lashley, and all of a sudden Apollo Crews is swept to the side for what they think is exactly the same thing they want, but in a package that's better, that's more familiar to the audience. So they go straight to him instead of building up Apollo, who I think more people are behind Apollo now than they are Lashley coming back.
I think Titus Worldwide could maybe be better suited for SmackDown at some point, but yeah, Lashley is something special. And for anyone who hasn't watched in the past decade in TNA or in Impact, he's good. And I'm excited to see, hopefully, him really break out, and he could be top of the roster kind of person. And maybe that'll happen in SummerSlam with Lesnar. I'm not sure what the plan is there, but yeah, Braun is just still amazing. And Sami and Kevin, they don't even need to win to be entertaining. That's pretty much the way they're at. Yeah. And so we'll see there. No Way Jose confronted by Baron Corbin. Corbin is basically, negative Nancy.
He's the death of fun. He always has been. Anything that you like, Baron Corbin hates, and hates you for liking it.
Yep.
That is the crux of everything that man is. And
I'm okay with it.
I have to say, I am refreshed with his honesty about how much he hates everything. Most people just lie to you and say that they like what you like when they don't. They don't mean it. They're dishonest. Baron Corbin is honest about everything that he feels deep inside. Most of it, almost all of it, revolves around negativity for one thing or another. Tonight, it was negativity towards No Way Jose, and more importantly, the conga line that has now started to follow him wherever he goes.
Sure.
And sure, Baron Corbin may have been right when he said any one of those guys could come right behind me and jump me before the match starts, so I'm not going to open myself up to that possibility. Not wrong.
Right. Well, I like Corbin. I'm fine with this. Corbin is who he is. He doesn't apologize for it, and I like it. He attacks Jose, destroys him on the ramp. So 2 new guys on Raw. Looks like we have something going on there.
Slam backbreaker. Yes. Very interesting. I like that.
Very well done. Next, a moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss will not stop body shaming Nia Jax. Gonna move on. No need to talk about that anymore.
I don't know. I liked this so much.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I loved it.
All right.
Because it showcases exactly who Alexa Bliss is.
Oh, for sure. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's good at what she does.
Yeah.
Finn Balor and Rollins, they beat the Miztourage rather quickly. Then we have a massive, the girls talking about, we have Natty, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, Sasha, Bayley having a conversation. 3 of them leaving Sasha and Bayley just staring each other down, essentially. And then we leave to the main event of Raw tonight. We had a 10-woman tag, Natty, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, Sasha, Bayley, taking on Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and the Riot Squad. And, well, a melee breaks out, chaos breaks out, Nia Jax dives into all of them, and that chop block scared the living daylights out of me.
Did it?
Natty really
Sarah Logan asserting herself, and Natalya not being aware that a chop block is coming. That's very dangerous. She took that entirely. Was put out of the match.
And this main
wasn't
event
able
was
to go to the back.
This main event was the highlight of the show for me. The women did a great job, I think.
They really did, and I think everybody sort of understands what's breaking down here and who's going to end up fighting whom, especially with the way that Mickie James was isolating Natalya. Even with Natalya being down on the outside with her knee in question at that time, Mickie James never spared a moment in her attack, relentless as it was to Natalya.
Yeah. And it ended with
Ronda Rousey.
Yes, that's right. I was like, wait a minute. This was, so Natty's getting attacked by Mickie James. Ronda storms to the ring. Mickie taunts them both. She ends up drop kicking Ronda. Ronda jumps in. Real quick takedown, real quick armbar. Mickie taps, and that's essentially how the episode ends. So right now, Ronda being utilized in perfect fashion. Quick, just fast and violent.
She's very good at it.
Yep.
I think her speed sometimes can work against her a little bit. Last week, she was just a little bit too fast to register. She needs to use the moments in between, build up the suspense, because she knows she's an ass kicker, and everybody knows it, but you need a little bit of suspense in there.
Agreed.
You got to build that.
But yeah, the chop block really had me going. I was like, oh, God, oh, boy. But,
I mean, everybody was really getting physical in there tonight. I saw Sasha unleash a few strikes that were like a how you doing kind of strike. it would wake you up.
I agree. Well, 10 strong women main eventing Raw. Speaking of strong women, we need to talk about Maria Menounos' podcast, Conversations with Maria Menounos, hosted by the founder of AfterBuzz. You know her, you love her, Maria Menounos. It drops every Friday on iTunes. It features celebrity and influencer interviews and secret tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. We're talking health and wellness, career, relationships, finances, all the stuff that we all encounter in life. And Maria's had an incredible life, and she's been through a lot of trials and tribulations. So it's a very well-rounded show. You'll definitely enjoy it. Go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And of course, you know she loves her WWE. Hell, she's wrestled at WrestleMania, for God's sake. She's undefeated. And she also hosts the red carpet the last number of years, as a matter of fact. So be sure to rate and comment. And when you do, let Maria know that it was us who sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out. And that has been the show overall. Mr. Baines, what do you think?
Show was merely a vehicle to get eyes onto the Saudi Arabia's greatest.
Which I'm
rival.
excited. It's going to be fun to watch.
Right, it should be.
I'll watch it in shifts.
Yeah. Yeah, do it in pieces.
Yes.
Don't do it all at once. You may choke.
Put yourself over.
I'm on Twitter at Baines Destroy and on Instagram still at True Hobo. I've got a lot of stuff going on, and this Thursday, I believe, is Wrestling Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
Brian Kendrick's very own, very, very entertaining comedy show. I will be there. Yep, I'll be there.
Beautiful.
Yep. And other stuff.
So at Marquia McCarty, at TK Trinidad, we hope to see them next week. Follow me at Loquasto. This Wednesday, Hollywood Improv, 8 p.m. And this Friday, Saturday, Blood Drive for Regular Hero, honoring the life of this amazing little girl we became friends with, Hazel Hammersley. She's no longer with us, but she's going to be there in spirit. We're doing a blood drive for her Friday and Saturday. If you happen to be in the LA area or know people in LA, tell them about this. I can send you all the information on social media. And the following week, I got the Sacramento Punchline on Thursday and Friday, and then Cobb's in San Francisco on Sunday the 6th. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and Arizona. Watch it on Fight TV every single week. Our next television taping is Sunday, April 29th for Hollywood. That is this Sunday. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We love you. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.